Welcome to today's session. This is a speed and agility session, and it is designed to be incorporated into your field session. The format for today's session will be a warm-up that will warm you up for the speed and agility session and the remainder of the session, followed by a speed and agility unit. Sorry, that just sounds messy. I'll start that again. Welcome to today's session. This is a speed and agility session, and it is designed to be incorporated into your field session. The format of today's session will be a warm-up, followed by a speed and agility unit, then on to a technical skills unit, and finished up with a cool down. So to start off today's session, we're going to have Jake demonstrate the warm-up here. And this warm-up is designed to get you warmed up for linear speed work that we will be doing in the speed and agility unit. So we're going to start off, we're going to work across here about a 20 to 30 meter space and then work across around 10 meters for some aspects of it. So you will need about a 20 to 30 meter space here for this. And the first exercise we're going to start off with, nice and simple, is just a 50% jog across the 20 to 30 meters. So Jake will get you started on that. Good, so nice and easy, just getting that heart rate up. Good, pausing it at the top and repeating that back down again. So 50% jog twice. And now we'll take it on to the A skip movement. Okay, so Jake's going to demonstrate that for us now, just across about 10 meter space. Reminder on this, getting the knees up and the toe up, opposite arm and leg action. Good. Nice strong movement, keeping that torso strong. Across 10 meters, pause, turn it around, and 10 meter return. Again, nice and strong with that movement, knee up, toe up, strong arm action. If you're a little bit confused with this movement, you can take it back to the A march drill. Okay, Jake's going to demonstrate the heel cycling motion now. I've also called this the knee up and over movement. So this is replicating that movement that you will do in the running movement, the linear running mechanics. So Jake, you're getting that heel up underneath the back side and keeping the toes up in that cycling movement. Good. Keep the toes up. Perfect. Okay, so I prefer you to use this movement rather than that heel kick up behind because it works nicely with the linear speed mechanics. Okay, so let's repeat that again, Jake. So across 10 meters twice. Good. Okay. Let's take it to a stretch for the hamstring. So we're going to do a high hamstring kick here. You're going to kick high to the opposite leg, again across 10 meters. When you're ready, Jake. Good. Kicking up to that opposite hand. You can see here Jake's raising onto the ball of the foot on the opposite leg. Perfect. Get that little bit of a warm up for the calf as well. And getting that nice long kick for the hamstring. Perfect. Okay, and instead of now repeating that back, we're going to do a straight leg bound movement here. So kicking the legs out straight in front with that opposite arm and leg movement. And I want you to drive to the ball of your foot here to get ready for that acceleration motion. So when you're ready, Jake, kicking the leg out in front, toes up, drive to the ball of the foot. Perfect. Good. Okay, let's take it back to working across our longer space, 20 to 30 meters, and let's build up to a 60% run. When you're ready, Jake. Good, okay, let's take that percentage up again, now to 70% on the way back. Good, okay, Jake, I'll get you to walk over here to the center. We're now going to work on some activation and mobilizing movements for our warm-up. First exercise we'll do here for this section is a reverse lunge and knee raise, and we'll do that with the overhead reach as well. Okay, so planting one foot in front. On the pitch, you'll likely be doing this in your boots, so make sure you've got a nice flat surface. Dig your studs in, get that nice strong front leg stance position, and then backward lunge from there. So Jake, when you're ready, we're going to do 10 repetitions here in total on a reverse lunge to knee raise. So let's just see that with that arm movement up and overhead. Good. Squeeze to the glute and drive the knee forward. Perfect. Now, if you're finding this movement a little bit difficult, you can take that overhead reach out of it. If you can't throw it in, do try, because you'll open up the hips nicely. So by reaching up and overhead, you'll open up the torso, and you'll open up into the hips. Try not to lean back with this one. And make sure you get that squeeze of the glute as you drive forward onto that stance leg. You can see here Luke's getting a little bit of a raise up onto the ball of the foot as well. Again, an extra little activation here for the calf. If you're finding that your stability is challenged a little bit too much with that, you can take that out. Good. Okay, let's switch legs, Jake. Planting that left foot in front. Make sure you've got a nice stable foot stance position. If you lose balance like that, just catch yourself with the opposite leg and repeat when you're ready. So stepping back, opening up, trying to get that nice 90-degree angle up both legs, and then squeezing through the glute on the front leg as you drive up in front. Take out the arm reach, take out the raise onto the ball of your foot if you find that the stability is challenged a little bit too much. Good. Squeeze to the glute. Work on that balance. Good. Nice, strong movement with each rep. Okay, let's take it on to an activation for the core here. And we're going to also incorporate in here a leg extension movement just for further activation of the glutes. So Jake, when you're ready, I'll get you down into plank position. This is one that you'll be familiar with from some of the previous units. Squeezing through the glutes, raising one leg, alternating, and keeping that leg straight, keeping the toes pointed down. So the movement here is coming from the hips. Make sure that you don't raise the hips up as you do this movement. Keep a nice, strong plank position, core nice and strong, and just open up at the hip, one leg at a time. Just 10 repetitions in total on this one, squeezing the core to get that core activation as well. Good. Okay, so we don't want that heart rate to lower down too much, so let's take it back to the first cone again. We're going to repeat our movements across, or come back to our movements across 10 meters. And we're going to work on the high knee skip movement now. So now we're looking for explosive movement, driving up off one leg, and bringing the opposite knee high in front, getting that opposite arm and leg movement. So let's have a look at that, Jake. Explosive on this, driving through the toes, squeezing through the glute. Good. Looking for height and not distance, and let's repeat that back again. Twice across around 10 meters. Good. As much height as you can. Perfect. Okay, so that's getting our vertical power. Now we're going to work on the horizontal power. So we're going to work on that horizontal jump or broad jump movement. And working across 10 meters here again, I want you, Jake, to jump as far as you can and clear the 10 meters in as few jumps as possible. So really looking for some nice power on this movement. So now using that counter movement. Good. Dropping back into that squat, swinging the arms back, driving forward. Good. So Jake, try to get as low to the ground as possible. Really clear as much distance as you can. Perfect. Okay, we're just going to do that once, but keep an eye on that over the next couple of weeks and try clear that same distance in fewer and fewer jumps as you gain more strength and power on that movement. Okay, the next exercise is going to be a forward hop movement. You're just going to do 3 hops here on each leg, so make them good quality hops here. So Jake's going to demonstrate this, balancing on one leg. You're going to get a hop and stick, pause before you jump, and hop to stick again. Good, so get that stick, sink down into it. Flexion through the ankle, the knee, and the hip to catch your balance, and then hop to stick again. Good. If you lose your balance, catch yourself, reset, and go again. So just 3 on the right, 3 on the left for this one. And as I said, because we're doing so few here, make it good quality ones. If you feel like the quality wasn't so good, just do a couple extra. Just get that balance right on the movement. You want a nice strong extension on the hop, and then you want a nice catch, sinking into the ankle, the knee, and the hip on that one, challenging your balance. If you find that you're not getting control over the movement, just shorten the hop a little bit more. You don't need a big explosive jump here. But if you're gaining good control over this, then you can extend that distance a little bit more. Okay, we're going to finish off this warm-up with a 20 to 30 meter run now, building up to 80% pace, and then finally 90% pace. And then in the main phase, we'll start working on the 100%. Okay, so Jake, just 80% run across 20 to 30 meters. Good, and I'll get you to take a walk back. So as you're doing this on the field, once we get to 80 to 90%, I'd like you to take a walk back, let yourself recover a little bit, and then we'll build it up to 90%. When you're doing the 60s and 70s earlier, you can do 60 and then follow it back with 70. Okay, so finishing up today's warm-up with a 90% run now. When you're ready, good, nice and strong. Good, okay, and we've got that deceleration as well. That's something I didn't mention, incorporating in the deceleration on that last 80 and 90% run. So that's it for today's warm-up. We're now going to take it on to the speed and agility unit. Now that we're warmed up, we're ready for today's speed and agility unit. Up to now, we will have built up gradually to 100% efforts, and each movement you did would have been self-led or self-initiated without any quick response. We're now going to encourage 100% intensity on each effort that you perform, and we're going to encourage the use of a quick response. So what I'm going to do is encourage the coaches to use a visual response. Now, the whistle can be used to help players react and respond quickly, but I prefer the use of a visual response. And the reason for this is that on the field, you're generally going to respond through visual. And when we hear the whistle blow, we're generally stopping in movement. So whistle can be used, but try and encourage the use of something like a ball or hand movements for the players to react visually and respond in terms of movement. So today's session is going to start off with some acceleration, deceleration movements, and you're going to work across about a 30 to 40 meter space. You want to make sure that because now we're working on 100% efforts that you're getting adequate rest time in between the attempts. So you want to take about a 1 to 2 minute rest time in between each attempt and longer if needed. And a nice way of working with larger groups here is to split the groups into 2, 3, even 4 groups so they can run through the drill and then take their recovery, and as they're waiting for the other groups to run through, they're getting that rest time. So main indicator here will be fatigue. If you feel that fatigue is setting in, then take a little bit longer on the rest time. So the first exercise we're going to work on is that acceleration, deceleration, and then re-acceleration movement. So I'm going to stand at the end of the 30 to 40 meter marked out area here, and Jake's going to demonstrate for us, and I'm going to have him respond on the ball movement. So just to explain first before we do this, I'm going to have Jake accelerate when I lift the ball up. I'm going to have him decelerate when I drop the ball down, and I'm going to have him re-accelerate when I raise the ball up. And then once he comes towards me, he's going to decelerate himself. Okay? So, Jake, you're going to demonstrate this at 100% effort, and then we're going to do a bit different variation for the second attempt. Good. Okay. So, Jake, getting ready. Good, let's get in that athletic stance position. Once you see that ball lift, you're going to take off at 100% pace. Once you see it drop, you decelerate. Once you see it rise again, you re-accelerate. Good, perfect. Okay, let's take a walk back. Like I said, taking adequate time in between the attempts. Letting the group ahead of you go through the movement, getting that rest time, taking longer if you need to. Okay, so just for the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to go into this next attempt straight away. And now, Jake, I'm going to get you jogging on the spot. So this is just going to show you here a different variation of the drill. So Jake's going to do the same thing here, respond the same on the ball movements, but now from a jogging on the spot movement. Perfect. Perfect, good. Okay, so it's up to the coach here on this. They can use different variations on this. You can use different hand signals. You can use the whistle if you like, but I would prefer to use a visual response on this. Just getting that acceleration, deceleration, re-acceleration, and playing around there with the time that you use as well, whether you have a long pause in the deceleration or just a quick pause and straight into that acceleration again. We're going to work across just 2 attempts here on that. If you feel that your players are up for it, you can add in more, but I wouldn't be doing any more than 4 attempts there on that. The next exercise we're going to work on, again responding on ball movements, is going to be a back pedal into a forward acceleration and then decelerate. Okay, so again, ball movements on this. You're going to start about midway through the drill here. We're going to work across about 20 to 30 meters, so at about 10 to 15 meters, the players can start. On the ball response, they're going to back pedal back to the first cone, towards the first cone, but then once they see that ball lift up or whatever response you're going to use, they're going to accelerate forward. So they're going to stop their back pedal, accelerate forward. Okay, that's going to make a little bit more sense now as Jake demonstrates. So Jake, I'll get you up here to the center. You can use a cone to mark this out. So you're going to back pedal once you see that ball drop. You're going to forward accelerate once you see the ball lift, and then you're going to decelerate once you see the ball drop again. Again, you can use various distances here for this. Okay, Jake, watching for the ball drop to back pedal. Good, very nice. Perfect. Okay, again, taking that rest time, letting yourself recover as you return, as the players in front of you go through the movement. You can work in groups with this. It doesn't have to be one player at a time. If you want to enforce the rest time, you can work one player at a time. But now we're going to demonstrate, Jake, the back pedal into that movement. The jogging on the spot into that movement. Okay, so same drill again, just showing a different variation here. Jake's going to jog on the spot. Once he sees the ball movement, he's going to go to back pedal. Okay, so again, 100% effort here on everything, but for now, just jogging on the spot. Good, nice sharp responses on that. 100% effort on your movements, 100% effort on your reaction as well. So again, we're just going to do 2 there. You can do up to 4 attempts on that, but no more than that. Again, we want good quality movements rather than fatiguing movements. We still have to come to the main phase, so just bear that in mind. So good quality sprint work, acceleration, deceleration work. Okay, and the final drill that we're going to work on is going to now involve a turn and sprint. Okay, so we're going to do a full 180 turn and sprint to the start. So what we're going to begin with is a forward run. We'll do that at 100% pace, so let's call it a sprint. Once you see that ball movement, you're going to react, turn, and sprint back to the start again. Now what we're going to do is include a deceleration that's a little bit different. So up to now, we have been working on that nice flat forward position for deceleration. That's not always going to happen in the game. So now let's start playing around with that a little bit. Now let's do a split stance side position deceleration. Okay, so Jake's going to demonstrate that when we come to the drill, and try mix it up that you're doing even amounts right and left on this. So we're just going to do 2 demonstrations of this drill, and Jake's going to demonstrate on the deceleration a right foot forward position and then a left foot forward position on that. If you're not comfortable with that, you can just go back to your normal front facing deceleration. Okay, so Jake is going to demonstrate this for us. Once I raise the ball, again, I'll be at the end of the drill for this, which is where I'd like the coaches to be standing for these drills. He's going to run forward once he sees the ball lift up. And once he sees the ball drop, he's going to turn immediately and sprint back to the start, and then decelerate in that split position. So again, working across about 20 to 30 meters here. Okay, I am going to go a bit shorter with this one, so I'm not going to quite stand at the end of this drill. So we'll probably work just across that 20-meter space. Okay, so Jake, you're just in that athletic stance position. You're going to respond on the lift of the ball forward to me. Once you see the ball drop again, you're going to turn, sprint back, and then decelerate in that split position. Turn, sprint back. Good. Decelerate. Perfect. Good. Again, because it's 100% effort here, take that time in between each repetition. but on the shorter distances, you shouldn't have to take as long. So longer distances, take a little bit longer on the break. Shorter distances, you can cut back a bit on that break. Again, fatigue's a good indicator here. Good quality drills. Okay, Jake, let's demonstrate that once more, and then try use the opposite leg on that deceleration. Perfect, good, okay. And you might have noticed there that I let Jake come closer to me, so using varying distances as well, challenging his response, making sure that the players don't anticipate what you're going to do, that their reaction is quick, it's fast, and they respond on that movement. So that's it for today's speed and agility unit. You're now going to take it on to your technical skills unit. During your technical skills unit, small-sided games are an ideal way of conditioning cardiovascular endurance. You can still use the previously recommended 4-minute bouts with 3-minute active recovery in between, and using that 3-minute active recovery to work on technical skills. But you are now encouraged to use larger area of space and involve greater numbers in the small-sided games. If, however, you are working with the older teenager and you feel they would benefit from more cardiovascular endurance work, at the end of your technical skills unit, you can include some repeated sprint efforts. You should use about a 90 to 95% intensity, and you can work across 4 to 6 repetitions on this with about a 20-second up to 2-minute rest recovery in between. That rest and recovery will be determined by the distance that you use. We would recommend 20 to 40 meter sprints. And it will also be determined by the levels of fatigue at this stage of the session. So increase the amount of rest that you use if fatigue is starting to set in.